Good morning. New hand today is going to be a recent hand. I've got 5-4 offsuit. A 10 NL game folds to me. I fold in mid position. We get a raise, 2.2. We get a call, small blind, and the big blind call. Four-way pot here. Raise is 2.2. I'm not going to read too much into the raise size. This player, we've got raise first in, two big blinds with a7 off. We've got called raise first in the cutoff with queen 10 hearts. We've got call with jacks, out of position, 3-bet range. We've got ace king. I'm going to assume like queens plus would be also 3-bet, but this guy is raise first in. So I think overall he's not going to be super loose. We've got a range like that is what I've built. And I think it goes with it. He is technically middle position, so I think on the button he's going to loosen up a bit. This is 14%. His mid position stat raise first in's 15%, plays 16% overall. We do have quite a few hands, so I think this is going to be a pretty decent range. Next guy I think probably has the loosest range. Maybe the big blind has the loosest range though. But here we are, cutoff 35%, 29% raise first in, stat calls 50% in the cutoff, calls 2-bet. You can see he's 32-15. We've got hands on him. I do have a note that it might call down with any pair, so we got to remember that. We have him limp calling with a low pocket pair. I'm sure he's playing with all pocket pairs. We've got 3-bet range. We've got aces. 4-bet range of 7s to 8s, 7s, 8s, and ace-9 suited. So he could mix in some raise. I bet that could be like a blind versus blind maybe. Not quite know, but I know we're going to be pretty wide here. And I put a range like this. We've got some of the offsuit aces, suited aces, suited kings, suited queens, so forth. Just a pretty big range. He's in position. He likes to play. Next player is playing 27-15, and the big blind is playing 27-8. So of these two players, this guy's going to be the more passive one. When we look at ranges out of the small blind, we've got 2 out of 5, only 41 hands total. We've got 2 out of 4 calling 2-bet, so that's 50%. I think overall this guy's probably playing a bit tight. We've got call 2-bet from blind range with jacks, ace-5 suited, ace-3 suited, king-jack off. So just using that information, I gave him suited aces, I gave him broadways, offsuit down to king-jack, and then of course ace-jack and queen-jack, suited broadways, pocket pairs here. I'm going to assume queens plus ace-king raises. Big blind, I'm going to go a little bit wider now. So we got called 2-bets from the blinds with 10s. We've got a few more hands at 132 from the big blind. He's played 44%, so 7 out of 16, and called 43%. I think this guy's range is closer to this guy's range here. So I gave him like suited aces, suited kings. I gave him offsuit hands, suited hands, all up in this corner, pocket pairs. And again, I'm going to assume queens plus ace king with 3-bet. So we've got 4-way. Flop comes down 9-8-3. And for a 3-way pot, or for 4-way pot, we're going to have to play more straightforward. So if we were going to be, c-betting with some air here, we should rethink that and really just restrict it down to value hands and hands with decent equity, like draws. So now we have a lead, and this is the first time that this guy dunks out here. Out of 42 hands, and I'd say this is not a hand that I would typically expect, or this is not a flop I would typically expect a donk here. I would really expect it if it was like a 1 high card, like king, queen. And then the second card on deck is mid to low, and then a donk is usually. I've got top pair with like a medium kicker. I want to see how strong my hand is. Same thing could apply here with like a 10-9. Probably not even ace 9. Um, not even sure if an overpair would do that. And of course, it could be tricky and play this way with the set and 2 pair, and then balance with like a flush draw or and maybe an open ender. With jacks and 10s, you block straights. So I'm not necessarily sure if I like that. If you lead out with 10s or jacks. I think this guy's got the tighter. I mean, when you look at the ranges, I think these two have the tighter range here. So I'm not going to say overpair. I think it's possible. Actually, you know what? We're going to do this 50%. We're going to say there's a 50% chance that he c-bet with those, or that he donked with those. I think definitely a 10-9 would do it, and I think definitely 8-7 would do that. Probably not any of these 4-5s, 4s, 5s, 6s, or 7s. So I think we've like drastically narrowed his range down. We've got 2 folds. All right, and then we get a call. He doesn't look super strong. Sorry, super aggressive. All right, might call down. It doesn't seem super aggressive, but I think these are typical situations where sets and 2 pairs will raise. Overpair with jacks and 10s, probably just call. And then top pair, middle pair, we're going to give him any pair he calls. We're going to give him flush draw, open ender, gut shots. I think we'll give him the gut shots. All right, so we've got our ranges. 5 of clubs hits. Now he leads out. We're going to go back. So that was a 8. He bets half pot. And now he bets half pot again. It could be. I think here overpair would continue betting. Top pair would continue betting. I don't think middle pair would continue betting. There's a possibility that he continues. We'll say to 50%, but oftentimes the donks happen, and then when they get called, they slow down. And especially with an 8, if he has an 8, he's going to slow down because he's going to be worried about the 9. All right, so he bets, and I'm going to guess that he calls. Yep, of course, because we're seeing a showdown. So in terms of calling, same thing. Pair, I've got note that like he might call down with pair. Straight hits, kind of think straight would be raising here. But again, yeah, straight. I think I'm gonna say straight would raise. I think set 2 pair, overpair probably now just call even if they connected. So I get 5s connected to the set. I think they just call here. Leave the flush draw, leave the open ender. Is he gonna call with the gut shots now? If he's calling with any pair, he's probably calling with these gut shot hands. So it basically has a similar range as he had going into this round. 8 of diamonds completes it. Villain overbets pot. I think it could be a three of a kind is possibly what he's looking at. Um, yeah, be tricky. Maybe he's doing that with two pair. I mean, this is at a minimum it's three of a kind. I don't think he's doing that with an overpair or top pair. So at a minimum, he's doing it with three of a kind, and maybe we messed up and thought about uh, and would have to go back and review his donk range and start including two pair trips. This guy calls three of a kind over pair maybe. Would a top pair or weaker pair? I just can't. You don't go bust with one pair. Don't go bust with one pair. And maybe just overpair. Maybe just an overpair. Maybe we'll just do that. But again, um, if he's calling with one pair, we'll have some notes down here. So we do see a showdown. He shows ace three. That was a pure bluff. Um, so he had a bottom pair is what he donked with. So we're gonna take a note here. Um, so he overcalled 2.2. Um, with ace three clubs. He is out of position four-way. He bet 50%. Bet 50%. All in for at least 2x pot. I guess we'll say all in 2x plus pot. 9 of hearts, 8 of hearts, 3 of spades, 5 of clubs, 8 of diamonds. Okay, so we missed this guy's hand here. And this guy shows eights. He shows the 8. So that's struggling. He had the 8. Kind of not surprised by that. I guess you look overall, he's got a lot of hands that he's gonna have to dump. But if he calls with any pair, man, maybe he calls that with any pair. I just don't know. So all right, so let's do this. Call MP 2.2 big blind RFI in cutoff with 10, 8 of clubs in position four-way. Call 50%, call 50%. And then call 2x plus pot. All right, I'm going to go back to turn here, or go back to the flop. This guy donks here. Kind of put up the range hands. If he's doing it with bottom pair, he's probably doing it with any pair as well. And we're going to have to add in those aces, ace nine. Okay, so we got that range. Then we got our 5 of clubs. And he leads again. I guess if he thinks just don't think flush draw is doing that anymore. Yeah. Okay. Yes, then he's heavy on the weak pair, and it comes down to would he really do that with the weak pair, and he did. So we've got that. I do want to say overcall a MP 2 big blind RFI in small blind ace 3 clubs out of position 4-way that 50% don't. We'll say don't bet 50%. All right, so guy's super aggressive. Glad I reviewed this hand to get some notes down here, notes on him and on him. We had both hands in their starting range, which is a good thing to do. I kind of defaulted him back to standard donk bet range, which would be more towards the top pair or like a middle pair. But now we know it seems like any pair. Maybe he's doing that on boards that like are probably gonna miss him. And then once this guy calls, you do have to be concerned with that. And on that river, I mean, he did do 2x pot all in. I guess you would do it with a full house, but it means you'd have to donk with trips or donk with 2 pair, and I think those hands are usually played as check raises. So, not sure if that's, if he's getting, or at least if the image and the reads that people are making on him match with how he thinks he's playing. And of course, he's always free to mix it up. If he knows he's going to be betting with trips and 2 pair on the flop, lead donk betting, then yeah, this could be a good play because it really puts this guy in a tough spot for a bet that size. He either has it or he doesn't, and in this case, he doesn't. Overall, it probably has more doesn't hands than actually does hands. But again, we would only know by watching more hands for this guy. I wouldn't have played it like this. And this guy took some guts to call, but again, on a hand like this, I would probably call with the 8. You've got it. You block 1/8. There's only 1/8 out left. You would need pocket pair for the full house to beat us. And again, if I was this villain, I would just assume that 2 pair and trips are more likely to be check raised than to lead out with a donk bet. So I would think, oh, he might be making a play at like 9-10, 9-7, maybe 10 jack, maybe 10 jack hearts, and it's now missed and it's just decided to bluff. So, all right, hopefully you enjoy this hand. I think we're just going to end it here. Look again tomorrow for another.